Hello and welcome to everyone tuning in. Hello, Sarah Blake, and thank you to those who are tuning in on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube to celebrate the launch weekend of A Women's Guide to Business Domination. Oh my gosh, we have had so much fun over yesterday, and we've finally got to our 18th author, not in that order, but the last to be interviewed. Miss Sarah Blake, who is absolutely sensational. And let me just tell you about Sarah. Sarah is an award-winning conflict strategist and mediator. She's a TEDx speaker. She's a best-selling author. She, through sarahblake.com, smblake.com, elevates leaders, empowers them to overcome conflict barriers. So she is so good at this area of negotiation, mediation, all things that make the rest of us freeze up. She goes, let's just do it well. She brings clarity to complex decision making during times of confusion, conflict, crisis. Oh my goodness. And she helps people transform problems into opportunities. She's been doing it a very, very long time. She's a seasoned mediator. Got over 26 years of experience. Plus, she comes from a long line of mediators. Oh my goodness, there was nothing else that Sarah Blake could have done with her life than to become an expert mediator. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks for that introduction. That's gorgeous. Life is a journey, right?
It sure is. It sure is. And I am so thrilled that you are able to be sharing your expertise in this new book. And you have titled your chapter, Find Your Way. How about we just dive right into that? What's your chapter about without giving away all the secrets? Because we know everybody wants to go to kmdbooks.com and buy themselves a copy or just get one on Kindle. But What is Finding Your Way all about? And why is that important after your whole career journey to be sharing with people?
Yeah, look, I think when I thought about what could be a useful contribution in a book like this is that I know women who are doing amazing things and growing amazing businesses and who are on the cusp of business domination, that we often find ourselves doubting ourselves at somewhere along the line or seeking external validation or thinking we just need to do more, we need to find out more before we can take that next step. And what I really wanted to share with people, I think, was something that was practical, but empowered them in a way that said, hey, you've got most of what you need inside already. But there's a little bit of a codification that can help you make it a bit more easier and practical. And I really wanted to give people an example of what worked for me, knowing that it might not work for you, but it might give you some tips and some tools. And really, it's about, hey, you've all got what it takes inside of you. You've got to trust that and believe that and let that fly.
Yeah. And that's the biggest barrier for most of us, isn't it? It's actually just trusting ourselves. We like to blame the external circumstance. And definitely some people have more opportunities, have more backing, more finances. Definitely there's advantages. But one of the biggest barriers is that mindset of, I don't have the goods or I don't have what other people have.
Yeah. Or if I just do one more course, if I just do one more process, or if I just tweak this paper just a little bit more, it'll be perfect. This search for that perfection that holds us back. And I really want to say to people that it's okay to be messy. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay that things go wrong, but your capacity to pick yourself up and keep moving forward, finding your own way, is really what helps you to find your own business domination. What works for you, right? Instead
Yeah.
of worrying about what everyone else thinks success looks like. It's saying,
Mm.
hey, this is what works for me. This is my way of doing it. It might be useful for you, it might not, but really trust yourself.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And that theme has clearly come through in the women who are authors
Yeah,
in this book. And that's why they are dominating in business, because they've got to that stage in their business and life journey that they're actually going, you know what, I am just going to do it my own way. I've tried other
yeah,
people's ways. I've listened to other people in certain ways, and that's
yeah,
actually held me back. I've been held back by my own self. And then there's that freedom when you go, all right, well,
yeah,
what is my way? So
yeah,
how about you share? Well, what did that mean to you? Where were those aha moments that you went, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to create
yeah.
this career as a mediator my own way?
Yeah. Look, I followed the traditional path for a number of years as a mediator consultant, setting up my own small business. And I'd done that for a number of years and done it well. I'm not saying that it wasn't successful. It did okay. It did everything that I needed it to. But as I was working harder and harder, my economic growth wasn't matching the time that I was putting into the business. I'd kind of plateaued and reached as big as it could grow with one person. And it
Mm,
forced me to sit back really and say, am I actually taking my business seriously, or am I just taking my profession seriously? And the
mm,
shift then was about, hey, I'm really good at what I do as a mediator, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm good at business. And if I want to make a life for me where I don't have to work 24 hours a day, longer and longer hours with not the economic growth, something has to change. And so
mm.
that was for me a real pivotal moment in really shifting the way that I approach the work that I do, at myself personally and the business.
Mm. And I think so many people, excuse me, are going to resonate with that issue, that so many of
Yeah,
us go into business because we're passionate about something, or it's our
yeah,
purpose, or we actually just go, this is what I did my uni with. I'm good at this,
yeah,
this is my
yeah,
bread and butter. But actually running a business is such a whole different ballpark, right? So you can
yeah,
get lost in the passion.
yeah,
And then that actually then at some stage you go, this sucks because I love it,
yeah.
but it's not working for me, right? We
That's
do have
right.
to actually change the ball and then go, oh my gosh, that's right. I need to actually get my businesswoman hat on here
Yeah,
and find those opportunities, because that's it. You're
yeah.
juggling kids, life,
Yes,
travel, partner
yes,
who travels a lot, who's away a
yeah,
lot. That's a reality. And I think other
yep,
people, listening into this launch broadcast is realizing, oh my gosh, these women who are actually dominating are juggling a lot of things. They're not
yeah,
just kind of, just saying, oh, it's pretty easy because I'm, single, or I have all this support, or,
yeah.
I'm at a different stage of my life.
Look, it's really complicated, and I think that's one of the continuing lessons I learn is that we constantly judge ourselves by this Instagram picture of perfection of what a successful woman looks like, or a successful business, and we feel the pressure often, I think, to conform to that it
Mm,
means we have to work long hours. That success means we throw everything to the exclusion of everything else, and I felt that pressure, and I still feel that pressure sometimes. And I check myself and I check my thinking and say, hey, that's not what success looks like for me. I want a business that allows me to reach a global influence and make a difference to people's lives. But fundamentally, it is about how can I create opportunities for me and my family and give us choice and give us flexibility. So that underlying values drives my notion of success. And then
mm.
you craft the systems that enable you to elevate up.
Mm. I think you're going to have to watch that on replay, everyone, because that is such a key point. It's
Yeah,
that, not that you're craving money, you're actually craving the freedom that money brings. It's
that's
the
right.
freedom of lifestyle choice. It's the freedom to say, you know what, I've got 2 or 3 kids, and I want to actually have those school holidays off.
Yeah,
4 weeks a year, 6 weeks a year, maybe 12 weeks a year if you're lucky enough.
Yeah.
And you've actually created a business over time that says during those times I've got different revenue streams coming in, or I've got
Yeah.
people who actually help me out, and I can do that. Or I have the luxury in my business to be able to travel and to be able to work while I'm traveling, to be
That's
able
right.
to, we've all got different things that we're actually
Yeah.
going, what's the success benchmark for us? And
That's
it's
right.
so different, right?
It is, you know what, and it's so different in couples as well, as a husband and wife, or in your families. You'll each have your own interpretation, nuances really, around what that looks like. And it's so important that we bring it to the surface, that we talk about it, that we examine it and we question it and we lean into that. And it's often a hard conversation because there's a reality check that comes with that. And you can't have, for me, I don't think you can have everything at once. And we can do everything, but just not everything at once. So we have to juggle and prioritize and work out, where do we put our energies? How do we do that in a way that's consistent with our values, with our vision of where we're heading towards?
Which can raise those relationship issues, actually.
Yeah.
Here you are, the mediator, because that's it. While you're both becoming entrepreneurs, and it's a rocky road at the beginning.
Yeah.
You don't get this success overnight, everybody.
And it's a rocky road all the way through, right?
Rocky road all the way through, and you can have these amazing wins, and then suddenly, an environment changes, and you go, "Whoa, what happened here? I was on a
Yeah.
roll." And you have to pivot and turn and be flexible. And
Yeah.
sometimes there's a lot of luck. Sometimes you're working so hard and things don't happen. Sometimes you take the foot off the brakes and then suddenly it does. It is a crazy world being an entrepreneur. Yes, there are definitely systems and processes
Yeah.
and formulas in play,
Yeah.
but some of it is a bit random. And then you get two different people in a relationship, which actually have different values, different businesses, different ways of being, different ways of finding their own way. And then you also have to really back yourselves in those
Yeah.
hard times and back each other
Yeah.
while they're going through that. So, even
Yeah.
in that, I know you sort of work at a very high level mediating, but let's face it, that's just a continuum of what's actually happening in different people's homes.
Absolutely. And it's happening all the time, right? At all levels. And the more we normalize that and say, hey, that is going on and it is tricky and we might not agree, but let's find our way through. I think if you can get those fundamentals right, it's going to help you as you seek business domination as well, because I think those same skills apply across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does business domination mean to you then? If we're dominating in business, what does that
Yeah.
actually mean?
Well, for me, it means, am I meeting my measures of success? That's my first port of call. So I'm not basing it on what other people interpret as success. It means what it means for me. I've done work around, I've actually got measures for myself around what that means for me in my business. But I also think it means, what's your capacity to influence change in your sphere of influence? So domination isn't just about smashing it out and making money or, leading the pack, but it's about, can you influence change for the better? Because there's this element, I think, of leadership, whatever field you're working in, that when you're dominating, you have great influence and responsibility. And I think that domination part is where you can make a difference and make a change in your field of passion or practice.
Yeah. Beautifully said. And I absolutely love that. When you're in these positions, it is an honor. It's an
Yeah.
incredible honor. It's a responsibility
Yeah.
to be able to, you're representing people. It actually kind of feels like you're an advocate for so many
Yeah.
voices at many times. And to
Yeah.
be given those opportunities because you've positioned your business, your brand, and yourself in these different
Yeah.
areas. That's right. Having that voice to government, to global change, United Nations
Yeah.
sustainability goals, people, opportunities to have your voice at a table that will actually influence change is
That's right.
absolutely incredible. And I think that is a really great example of dominating a lot. A few people have said to me, why is it business domination? Does that mean you're all just nailing it in business? And they often think of that like it's just this a money trip, or how many
Yeah.
how many figures are you all in? I'm like going, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, so much more than that. Actually,
Yes.
the caliber of people who are dominating, most of them are actually not talking about the figures. It's more about they're achieving the business that they're wanting to do. They continue to grow that, but it's the extra trimmings. It's the ability to give back, the ability to influence change, the ability to have that lifestyle choice, the ability to have flexibility. It's absolutely incredible. And I know that you are a great advocate for that, and such an amazing mum. I watch that, as we work now alongside just professionally, I'll also see the social side. And that's right, you're taking time off, you're there with your kids in holidays, you're being there for them. And that's an incredible opportunity. It's something that you strongly value. So you put that into your recipe of success.
Yeah, absolutely. It's core to what I do. And I think that it's a struggle sometimes, and we don't always get that balance right. But, I wouldn't have it any other way. And for me, the domination is that I'm finding that balance that is right for me, that allows me to really do well, put my whole self into the places that I want to put my energies into. So I'm really grateful for it. And I think as women particularly, that we need to stop shying away from what are considered, in a way, masculine words, domination. It's, it's all about the money and the heart, and it's just not. And let's own it. Let's own it in a way that celebrates success for what it means for each of us in our own ways. And what a wonderful thing to be a part of. It's such an honor.
Yeah. Oh, it is such a joy to have you as one of our authors, and your wisdom in this chapter is just so fantastic to share. I love the way you write, and I love the generosity that you have in you passing that on to, future generations, those people who are thinking, that's right, how do I find my own way? How do I, I'm watching other people, I'm studying, often when you first go into business, you're so busy studying your competitors, studying people ahead of you. What are they doing? What are they doing? How do I do it better? How do I make it look slightly different? Whereas that's exhausting. It is important to do. Anyone in my incubator programs, I'll be saying that, you definitely need to do all of that. But it's not the main focus. The main focus is to go, considering all of that, now with your magic wand, what's your dream business look like for you?
That's right.
For all of those situations, and those people reading you'll be able to do that from your own perspective. So you look at the way Sarah's written that for her situation. I'm now at a different stage of my life that, my 5 children are now all adults. So I've got all these different opportunities, and I never had when I had 5 little kiddies. And then other people will have people, family members maybe with disabilities. They'll be a carer for someone. They'll have partners who travel, might even be overseas if they're military. There's so many different factors that creating and finding your own way is a journey. And I think they're in there, and I know that you share that so well. It's actually just a lot of learning about yourself, trusting yourself, finding that flavor. I love it. It's like a secret sauce.
It is. Yeah.
And then other people get attracted to that secret sauce, right?
Yeah.
Because, they'll just go, oh, you've got to go to Sarah Blake for this issue because, she's just got this, her style of her own. The style is Sarah Blake, right?
Yeah.
It's not the mediation consultant, it's not depersonalized. The personal branding comes in the finding your own way. And that's why you get this success. It's kind of this little interesting formula, and I'm quite happy to say I do the same, and
absolutely,
because it's like, who are you copying? No one. I'm actually
exactly
myself and creating my own brand. And anyone in any space will have competitors, but it's not about that. You find, in fact, actually get to another stage of going, I wish them well. We need more people in this space doing what I do.
Right.
Suddenly it flips, and you go, oh my gosh, like. Yes, that is good that they're there.
Yeah, I think there's a freedom that when you find yourself and find your own way, yes, you do the research, but it doesn't matter so much. You've parked your ego. What you're really focused on is what you're trying to achieve. And it just slides off your shoulders. There's a real sense of peace for me about who I am and what I do, and a real deep knowing. And it doesn't matter anymore. I don't do it for approval from others. I do it because I want to make a difference, and I want to make my success my way. And I think that people instinctively resonate when you're your true authentic self. And I think, and I wonder, I don't know a lot of the other women in this book, but I would imagine that they're also the same, that they are authentically and deeply at peace with who they are.
100% of them are, because they wouldn't have been in the book if that's a definite that's a benchmark requirement for any to come into any collaboration, because that's what we actually stand for. That's what we represent. Moving forward for younger women to actually go, I want the real deal. I want the honest truth. I want the wisdom from these ladies who are really raw and authentic. And that's so important. I don't want the fake. I don't want the, I just try a bit harder and do this and this will happen. Or, we see enough of that. And that actually has been a huge downfall. It's been a disgrace, because it's actually, I'm going to call it out, it's just a lie. It's not just a mistruth, a manipulation of truth. It's lying, and it then sets false hope for people who are working so hard. And what's the response to that is they then go, what's wrong with me? And the reality is there's nothing wrong with you. You're all amazing. This is just across this book. This is what it takes. And this is the way we think about things. And it's therefore very achievable. And it does take time, and it does take energy and effort, but it's totally possible.
It is possible when you believe in yourself, when you surround yourself with amazing, inspiring people, and when you have that courage and hope to just keep walking your way. I think it's really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, it is so exciting. I thank you so much for giving up your time on launch weekend. Everyone, if you haven't bought our book yet, you want to go to kmdbooks.com. You can also scan my little QR code on the background if you're watching it on YouTube, for example. Definitely get yourself a copy of this book. It's also on Kindle. Will be dropping into your account in the next few days. So you're going to hear from Sarah Blake. You're also going to hear from 18 different women from around the globe who all got very different businesses, by the way, very different experiences. And that's a good thing. We actually need to learn from the breadth of women. They've all had incredibly unique journeys, juggling masses of children to no children, juggling, multiple businesses, and some worked, some didn't, all of their lifelong learnings. They're all happy to share their knowledge and their expertise. They're all happy to go, what, I learned from this challenge. It could be helpful to you. No one is saying this is the only way. This is just principles that could be helpful, because if it happened to me, it could happen to you, or, just try things out. I absolutely love the whole tone of this book, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so proud that you are part of it, Sarah. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And anyone who wants to connect with Sarah directly, just go to SM Blake and you'll find her there.com, and you'll also find her via Women's Biz Tribe, via all of our social media platforms, via books. Oh my goodness, she's got books of her own up there. This woman is just everywhere, and that's what you want. You want to be around people who are just doing so many things, and they're all working. They're all in different stages. Some of them are success first time, and some of them you're going, oh my gosh, I've waited 10 years for this breakthrough, and it's now happening. And then you get that aha moment, go, oh my gosh, if I had known that 10 years ago, I would have done it differently. And that's all. And we all have a lot of fun and laugh at ourselves, and we want you to enjoy your journey along the way. So thank you so much for those of you who've joined us over the weekend. Thank you, Sarah. And we look forward to having you send us pictures with the book. We look forward to hearing your feedback of what resonated with you. Have a great weekend, everybody.